the horse is going round and round and round, do horses genuinely enjoy it and not get bored?
That's a good question. Okay, well, how to answer that? Well, I'm not a horse.
Small Biz Digital Media presents Connect, Convince, Convert, Inspiring Business Success Stories with Dave Bird, Steve Ennis and Martin Hill.
I'm Dave Bird and I'm at the Horse Locomotion Clinic, and I've got Elizabeth VanRoss here who's been running the event. Tell us about it.
Oh, hi. Well, this is the first day. It's a 3-day event, a 3-day clinic. And the clients that are here, or the students that are here to learn about integrating anatomy into equitation, which is quite a difficult thing for them to do because it takes them slightly away from what they're normally used to doing. So, but we've got several horses here, several riders, and then quite a few people watching.
I've got Catherine Harbord from the Horse Locomotion Clinic, and what would be really great is for you to give us an insight into the background of this event and what all the people attending are getting out of it.
Okay, this is Liz VanRoss AlignmentHorse Clinic, and AlignmentHorse is all about how to help our horses move in alignment, because actually many horses that we see don't know how to change their natural form of locomotion, a form that's more suitable for answering the questions that we ask them generally. So many horses we see working in dressage arenas or show jumping are frequently in a place which is causing them some damage, potentially some damage, because their limbs are all at funny angles and not supporting their bodies as well as they could be. So Liz's work is transformational, but when we see the horses coming into the arena, we have to work with each horse depending on what situation they're in and whether they're finding it's an anxious situation or not. We need to deal with that first and foremost, because the horse needs to be relaxed and calm before we can start talking to their brains and their nervous system and start implementing some changes. What I found with my horses is that actually there's an improvement in terms of behaviour and attention and feeling of well-being, comfort and stability in movement almost immediately, which is amazing. But as you say, all muscle memory takes a while to build and change, and so they need frequent reminders at the beginning with somebody who's fairly experienced with the work. And of course, in this clinic, we don't just have horses who need to find a new way of moving. We also have riders who are learning how it is to ask their horses to move differently and to explain to them how it is they might do it. So if you like, we've got a green rider and a green horse, and we're trying to teach both, or we are teaching both to make changes. So that takes a little time. And then if the horse has a number of issues, it's going to take a good few months and maybe in some cases a year or two before you would really see the outline of the horse change, the musculature change, the physical appearance of the horse to change. That will happen. It depends on where we're starting as to how long it takes.
I have to say, the level of detail you go into is something quite extraordinary. What are the key points that you're trying to get across in each of the demonstrations, Liz?
Wow, that's a big question. There's quite a bit. The first thing that we teach horses or their owners about is the conversation. So they're going to have a conversation with each other. So they go beyond just the action-reaction. So normally in a horsey environment, we would make an action to which the horse would react. And we do start with that, but then we move on to involving the endocrine system. So we start working with the hormones, and then eventually into being able to ask a question, and then the horse answers the question because he knows how to answer it rather than being made to answer it, which makes actually the life of the horse a lot easier, especially that we teach them how to move their bodies in such a way that they can hold themselves up really well. Instability. I don't really look for balance. I look for the horse to be very, very stable. And if he's stable, then the rider on top is also very stable, which means there's less deformation of the body, so we don't get a lot of, hips moving out or compensation, which then can lead horse and rider to painful ends.
Sure thing. Now, one thing that's absolutely struck me as a complete novice in this field is you made an extraordinary comment earlier on about the difference between human intelligence and a horse's wisdom. Just say a little bit more about that.
Right. Okay. So this is something that struck me a long time ago, the length of time that horses have been on this planet. So they've been here around 50 million years, and the human being has been around for about 3 million, I believe, from, emerging from the primordial pool to today. So we have a super intelligence, but in my estimation of what I've seen of the human being, we have developed, as in we've got these amazing microphones and cameras filming us, and we've been to the moon, etc. So we've developed our skills, but we haven't evolved. Whereas the horse has evolved. He's had the time to develop an amazing amount of wisdom. So there's a lot of animals that live on this planet that are wise beyond anything that we could ever imagine. And I think humans are in the toddlerhood of their evolution, and which is why we see a lot of the problems we're seeing today.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just one final question before we wrap up here then. The horse dressage process, it's quite involved, and the horse is going round and round and round. Do horses genuinely enjoy it and not get bored?
That's a good question. Okay, well, how to answer that? Well, I'm not a horse, so I don't really know what goes on in their head. We do have some fantastic animal communicators. But I believe that a horse, if he is comfortable in what he's doing and he feels secure, that then he can find some enjoyment, and he will attach to his human. So I don't think of me being an owner. I think of me being my horse is human and he is my horse, and we have a relationship. With the work of dressage, so dressage is a sport that we develop. The work that we do here is to teach horses how to use their bodies in such a way that they don't harm themselves to answer the questions that dressage would ask, for example. But we don't, whether or not the horse enjoys it shows up as to how he behaves. So if he's behaving in a way where he's calm and relaxed, as you've seen the horses today, where he's responsive to us and he's able to do the work without feeling stress or feeling that he has to stiffen and tighten, then I think that yes, I think they do enjoy it. Because my horses anyway, every day when I go out, they do all come to me, and I'm sure it's not just for food, although that is part of it.
Fantastic insights, Liz, and thank you so much for giving us that interview.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
This episode of Connect, Convince, Convert was produced and presented by Dave Bird. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, so you don't miss any future shows.